Hey guys, come on in, type in freedom now, freedom now. It's great to be with you today. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide and globally at McBean Law, where we believe in freedom. Type in freedom now, and certainly let me know where you guys are joining from today. It's really nice to be with you. I have, let's see, five important news updates to provide to you today. So come on in and be sure to share this video and live session with your feed. Watch the replay if you miss any of this. We're reachable at McBean Law. We're located in White Plains, New York. However, we work virtually with clients nationwide. Go to McBeanLaw.com to see who we are and what we've done for others. We've helped over 11,000 clients over the years, and we're so proud of the opportunity to help make an impact. So go to McBeanLaw.com today and read our success stories on our website. Our phone number is also pinned at it's 914-898-9488, where you can request an appointment, a consultation with us. It's great to see you guys. Type in freedom now, guys. I see that Texas is in the house. Washington, D.C. is here as well. Owens Mills, Maryland is also in the house. India is in the house. Great. California, of course, is here today. Guys, this session is being moderated, and I do ask, of course, as usual, that you keep your comments civil, and we will get to our Q&A segment momentarily, where you'll get a chance to ask me some immigration questions. We're asking that you ask questions only, okay? Questions only at this time. Once we reach that segment, I should say, put in your question only, okay? If you're glad to be here today, type in, I'm happy to be here today, and I'm joining from work, or I'm off today. I see that London, England is in the house. Hey there, Bola. Cameroon is here as well. Boston, New Jersey, Brooklyn, of course, Florida. Great. All right. So, guys, we're going to go right into the news. I have some good news and, of course, bad news to share with you today. All right. So, let's go into the very first segment, guys. And it has to do with California. And this I would classify as good news. California lawmakers approved a bill that would ban most law enforcement officers from wearing face masks, including ICE agents. They would not be able to wear those face masks during their operations. There are some exceptions that this bill covers as well, including those who need to wear wear a medical mask or tactical gear, or if they're doing undercover work, certainly they will be able to wear a mask, but most everyone else, including ICE agents, will not be able to wear a mask when they are out there conducting those raids and racially profiling folks. As as you guys know, the U.S. Supreme Court, as I discussed with you last week, has green-lighted racial profiling in California, and of course, it has implications nationwide as well. Now, the bill has not been signed into law as of, I guess, this morning. It's on Governor Newsom's desk, and apparently we're expecting him to sign it within the next month. And this bill responds to recent mass immigration raids in Los Angeles. And this is the first state-level legislation directly challenging federal enforcement tactics. Now, those who support this argue that the masks create fear and confusion, making officers indistinguishable from kidnappers. And ICE had not previously they've never worn masks during street operations before, so why should they have to do so today? Opponents, of course, argue that the mask protects law enforcement officials from danger. So that's something to, we're keeping a watch on that issue, waiting for Governor Newsom to sign the legislation. Now, let's go to the second piece, and it has to do with all the hype and buildup around Chicago. Remember last week, was it last week or it might have been the week before? We were obviously all talking about the fact that the Trump administration was gearing up to send the National Guard into Chicago. And the government, the administration has retreated. President Trump has said, well, okay, the Democrats don't want us to go into Chicago, so we're not going to do that. We'll just send the troops into Memphis, Tennessee. But my understanding is in Chicago, there has been more ICE activities in Chicago, but the National Guard is not going into Chicago. On Fox and Friends on Friday, President Trump said that he will no longer send the National Guard to Chicago. Instead, he prefers to send them to Memphis. And obviously, the White House has been given conflicting signals for weeks now about sending troops to Chicago. And the discussion was tied to Operation Midway Blitz, which has intensified immigration enforcement in the city. And now, Governor Pritzker in Illinois has been front and center on this issue of pushing back on the administration from sending troops into Chicago. And he was very, very vocal about the whole issue. And he warned the Trump administration that, you should not come here. You're not wanted here. We don't need you here. And he took a very hard position on this. And the Trump administration has since retreated. So now the focus is on Memphis, not necessarily on an immigration crackdown side of things, but more so along the lines of crime. And the president claimed that Tennessee Governor Bill Lee and the Memphis mayor both support the deployment of troops in Memphis. So we'll see how that plays out. Guys, thirdly, South Korea. South Korea have they flown their people back home, right? As you guys can recall, almost 500 people were detained at the Hyundai battery factory in Georgia, and it was a big mess. From what I understand, guys, ICE had the intention, this is from what I understand, had the intention of just going in and grabbing up four Mexicans, apparently they had warrants for, and due to confusion and some other things that happened there, they went ahead and they just held up so many people, hundreds of people, and detained nearly 500 people. And it was a big, big, big mess. Over 300 South Korean workers have returned home. And images of Korean workers shackled and chained sparked widespread anger and a sense of betrayal toward the U.S., a key ally. Families and government officials in South Korea welcomed their workers back home a few days ago. And the workers described harsh conditions that they faced in the U.S., including being shackled and sharing rooms where toilets were beside eat-in areas. And many expressed shock at the sudden raid and said they did not want to stay in the United States after this ordeal. Some people were traumatized, obviously. The South Korean government intervened and negotiated things with the U.S. And my understanding, as I've been reading it in the press, is that President Trump had actually asked that the workers remain here. They get to stay here and train U.S. employees, but they've since sent those people home. And this is a huge, huge loss because the Hyundai LG battery plant is part of a 350 billion South Korean investment in the United States. And Many workers entered on short-term visitor visas or the visa waiver program, ESTA, or visas not intended for employment. They're still sorting out those issues, whether some folks were actually consultant on a B1 visa versus unauthorized employment. They're sorting out those issues, obviously, but apparently the Trump administration wanted them to stay here, and train U.S. workers, and they left. So that's it's just a crazy occurrence, guys. This one is important, okay? This one is important, and this one has to do with the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Okay, last week, the State Department announced that if any foreigner is seen online celebrating or praising or rationalizing or making light of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, that the State Department is watching, number one, and number two, a visa could be revoked if that is found to be the case. And this is the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, who warned Thursday that Washington may take action against foreigners who praise, rationalize, or make light of the killing of Charlie Kirk, and that the consular officers across the globe have been instructed to undertake appropriate action. This applies broadly to foreigners seeking entry or those currently in the United States, or those currently holding U.S. visas, I should say. The State Department stressed that individuals whose presence does not align with U.S. national security interests should not expect to be granted visas. Now, guys, this ties into, I think, the new policy that our government has called anti-Americanism, which we're still trying to define and trying to understand what exactly anti-Americanism is all about. And I do have a video out here on YouTube, McBean Immigration TV, about this new policy. And in the video, I say that the government will be looking at your social media and looking to see where you are in your immigration journey, whether you're seeking a visa to enter the United States, or whether you're here in America applying for a green card or going through U.S. citizenship. That process here in the United States, they're going to be looking at your social media to see if there are any viewpoints that you've shared publicly that does not align with this administration's foreign policies. And this is one of them. This is a very clear example of how they are broadening their discretion and the scope of things, the scope of their scrutiny of visa applicants and those here in the United States who who are going through an immigration process. This is anti-Americanism. This is the first example that, or second, maybe, I don't know, that we've seen of this. So the potential consequences, guys, could include visa restrictions or revocations. There, it hasn't been confirmed yet whether any visas have been revoked. The State Department has not explained how consular officials will evaluate flagged accounts. So apparently they're going to flag some accounts. Again, this is all very new. It's raw. Everything. The killing of Charlie Kirk happened just a few days ago. The government is responding in this swift way. And I thought that you should be aware of what they are doing. Again, anti-Americanism. All right, guys, let's get into the last piece here, and it has to do with, and this is news related to the parole program. You guys remember the CHNV parole entry process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. You know, the Trump administration ended this ended the status of these people. My understanding is it impacts 430,000 migrants who entered the United States during the Biden years and lawfully through this process. And the Trump administration has had ended it pretty abruptly, and so litigation started, and it's making its way through the court process. But on Friday, the first U.S. Court of Appeals rejected a challenge by immigrant rights advocates against the Trump administration's decision to end this parole program. The court sided with the government here, guys. In simple terms, the court sided with the government and said that the government they have broad discretion to end these humanitarian parole programs. And now individuals who entered with this program under one of this particular parole, I should say, they face obviously being deported or remaining in the United States without legal status and being detained and then eventually deported, or they could return home. Obviously, that's the viewpoint that the government is pushing. Don't stay here, just return home, leave the United States because you no longer have status. However, just keep in mind that if you enter through this process, you could very well be eligible for adjustment of status, and the Leave Now campaign doesn't impact you as you're making your way through the green card process if you're eligible for adjustment of status. So this is the news that came out on Friday. Now, with that being said, I'm going to shift gears, guys, and we're going to go into our live chat segment and pull up some of your immigration questions. Okay, let's see. Gina, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here today. Portland, Maine is also in the house. Florida, awesome. Guys, you can begin typing in your immigration questions for me. Type in freedom now. Let's just adjust this mic. All right. Awesome. Let's see. Okay, here we go. First question, if you have a VAWA case, but you got called for your marriage-based interview case, can they convert it on the spot? Been waiting for 2+ years already, finally got an interview with a U.S. citizen spouse case. Now, you've applied for VAWA, and I'm really surprised that the I-130 485 process with your abuser spouse is actually still making its way through the process. That case should have been, converted a while back. The conversion can happen at your interview, of course, but work behind the scenes with an attorney to prepare for that process, to prepare even for that interview, because you're not seeking that green card through the U.S. citizen anymore. You're doing VAWA. Unless the government made a mistake, I don't know if your case was converted and the government made a mistake with its interview notice and they sent you the I-130 485 interview notice instead of a VAWA notice. I don't know, but work behind the scenes with an attorney to clear this up, and also if you decide to go in for this interview, to prepare yourself for this interview. But it sounds to me like you have a VAWA case. Then you should be proceeding with your VAWA case. Guys, this is actually a good question that reminded me that today, September 15th, my marriage course, the green card interview prep, that's what it's called for couples, has launched today, September 15th. Many of you have already pre-ordered, so you got a discount. And the course is now available to the student, and it's available to you as well, the public. So you guys, we're going to drop the link here momentarily. If we haven't yet already dropped the link, you can go on my website and register for the course, buy the course, and prepare yourself for your green card interview with your spouse. Prepare yourself for that interview, guys. It's critical that you do well. You have to convince them in person that you're in a genuine marriage, okay? Let's go. Freedom now. Let's go down a little bit. Let's see what Chris says here. Chris says, you touched on no bail from immigration court. What happens to the people that have bail already and that have been in administratively closed case for over 10 years? So individuals who are in removal proceedings and your case was administratively closed, what you should know is that the government is recalendaring and putting your cases back on the docket, 400,000 cases. And we've been consulting with people in this very situation and taking on their removal cases for those who we can represent in court. So you should be paying attention, certainly, to potentially get in a notice, a hearing notice, or you can, if you have an attorney that was on record or is on record for you, just know that the attorney is going to be the one to get that notice. So check in with your attorney to make sure that the attorney is paying attention to your case. If your attorney is deceased, you're going to immediately need to pay attention yourself, actually, by going to EOIR's website and putting in your alien number to keep track of things to see if you have a hearing coming up, and then hire a new lawyer right away. So you've got to be proactive now. If your case has been administratively closed, you've got to be proactive to find an attorney to represent you in removal, because the government is in the process of recalendaring and getting these cases back on the docket. All right. Now, the no bail or bond issue has to do with people who entered the United States without inspection. The Board of Immigration Appeals has recently held in a bad decision. I think it's bad, that says that these individuals, once they are detained by ICE, they cannot seek a bond hearing before an immigration judge, that the immigration judge doesn't have jurisdiction over those individuals. And so, therefore, they would have to carry out their entire removal process while being detained in jail, prison, and or they could sign paperwork to go home, to be for voluntary departure, to leave right away the United States. But for some people, we will be filing habeas, arguing that they are unlawfully detained and they are not a flight risk. There's no reason for them to be tied up in this manner, be held up, I should say, in court, in this detention. Let's see. I'm watching from Wisconsin. What do you advise me to do? I want to move my case from Newark Immigration Court to Chicago Immigration Court because I live in Wisconsin. I've been here for 2 years now. Aaliyah is asking. So Aaliyah, there's a process that allows for individuals to file a motion to change the venue of their court, and you should speak with an attorney one-on-one about this. That attorney is going to see where things are in the process for you. Okay, let's see. My colleague is sharing something with me now, just keeping an eye on things. Okay, so work with an attorney to determine what the story is with your process. Have you already gone through your first master calendar here and what's going on? Or what are you waiting now for an individual hearing? The attorney is going to query those issues and then advise you accordingly about how you can change your venue. All right, let's go down. Type in freedom now, guys. Let's get it going. I just came back from vacation. I was gone for a week. I was in Jamaica. On the way. I don't know if she's watching, but on the flight coming back to New York, I was sitting next to a very nice lady, and she said, "You know, I can't just sit here and not say something. I watch you all the time on Instagram. I'm following you on Instagram, and I'm sitting next to celebrities." And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, but I will say to you, freedom now." And we both laughed. We traveled back together, a very bumpy ride. It was at night and it was very cloudy and scary and bumpy. But it was nice to be sitting next to a fan. That's when I started to feel a little famous, guys, because in my mind, I'm not. Freedom now. Hey there, Althea. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Um, Barbara is asking, is the California government setting the dress code for the federal government? I don't know anything about the dress code, but I do know that the legislature has they passed legislation saying that they don't want ICE to wear a mask, law enforcement to wear a mask when they're out there conducting their raids. Okay, let's see. Freedom Now. Okay. My question is, will I be eligible for a USA spouse visa through second marriage with a citizen? I'm previous, but I am previously married in the United States. So this person is on his second marriage and wants to know if they would qualify, the person would qualify. Of course, maybe if you're in a genuine marriage, I want to know what happened with the first marriage and whether that spouse filed for you and what happened with that case. How did the government conclude that case for you? That's really important because if the government concluded that they thought you were involved in a marriage scam, fraud case, then you're going to have problems with this new case through your new spouse. You can reach out to us. We have a lot of experience with fact patterns like this. Definitely don't file a case on your own if that was in fact the scenario, okay? All right, let's keep going. Okay. I need your answer. Does previous work without authorization and visa overstay before becoming an asylee can impact you when applying for your green card? The overstay part, no. Working without authorization can very well be a problem for you. Okay, let's go down. Someone, Juan says, I'm applying under the 5-year rule for citizenship. Okay, so not early citizenship. Okay, through marriage. Unfortunately, it will be in he'll be eligible in April of 2026. Should I apply then or should I wait until the next presidential election? I don't have a criminal record. So here you have someone who is a green card holder. He's going to become eligible for citizenship or naturalization in April of next year. And should he wait until Trump leaves office or not? And he doesn't have a criminal record. So I think in order for me to answer that question, I would need to know a little bit more about you. For instance, if how did things go with this marriage case that you had? I'm assuming it's marriage. I don't know. I could be wrong. What's on your immigration record? That's really key. Did you procure this green card correctly, truthfully? There's nothing that you should be concerned about on the immigration history side of things, right? That's important. You mentioned you don't have a criminal record. Do you have anything else going on that could be dragged out? Like, do you owe child support? Do you owe taxes? Because as you know, under this new citizenship pathway, the government has expanded moral character to include you completing all of those payments to the IRS and you taking care of your family. You can't really have anything outstanding. So you know your situation and you know what could be cleared up by when. And I would make the argument that if you have nothing to worry about, you don't owe the government any money and have a bad immigration history, then I would seek naturalization next year. I wouldn't, wait. I would want to be free. But certainly if there's something small there that is lingering in your mind, you could speak with an attorney about it next year to see whether you should move forward then or whether you should wait. But just expect that good moral character is where they're going to really drill down on people to limit, I would say, the number of new citizens. that will be coming out of this Trump administration. Okay. Let's go down a little bit. Type in freedom now, guys. Good to see you today. I'm a U.S. citizen and I filed the Form I-824 for stalled approved I-130, and I filed it in July of this year, and they've received it, and USCIS is reviewing it, and there's no decision yet. Yeah, that one usually takes several months for the government to approve and then send the I-130 case to the visa center. So you just started. You just started this process. Hopefully it'll be faster for you, but from what I understand, it usually takes several months, 7 to 8 months for some people. Freedom Now from Connecticut. Okay. Hey there, Andrew. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. Friends, if you have any good news stories, if you have any good news, any testimonials, share them, please. You you have, what I want you to think about is by you sharing your success story, it really will encourage other people, because people are out there thinking that the immigration process no longer works, it's over, they shouldn't even do anything. But when they hear about your citizenship success story, your green card story, your asylum story, your work permit, it really encourages them. So please drop in the comments any degree of success you've had, or a friend or family or anything, any good news that is true. Please drop it so that others can be encouraged, and I will be sure to share your good news stories next week. Today I have a few stories to share with you guys. Let's see. Okay, Famara says, I have already attended my interview for the green card, but after the interview, I was issued a letter for continuance, which indicated that my case is being held for review. What does this mean? But few hours. I'm not sure about the few hours part of things. Now, you've interviewed. I don't know if something came up during the interview, or maybe there's something on the paper in the paperwork that sparked additional review of your case. But yes, the government, something did come up, and now they're drilling down a little bit. Okay. Now, if you're waiting, I would say maybe longer than 3 months for a decision. You should start, unless you already have an attorney, work with someone to take a look, to get your records from immigration and to drill down into your background and to tell you what he or she sees. You could reach out to us for that type of service. We call it a case assessment, so that we could drill down with you and gear up for what could potentially be next in your case, okay? But it could be very difficult, I know, to wait after an interview. It's unclear, though, how long you've been waiting. People who got arrested in the past by ICE and they paid a bond to get out, and ICE arrested them again, and you have a U visa and work permit, how will things go in a situation like this? Maria is asking. So, Maria, the question that will be considered is, how did you enter the United States? That's the key there. If you entered without inspection and you're arrested again by ICE, the judge will make an argument that they don't have the jurisdiction to release you on bond. If you were arrested by ICE before, it tells me that you did go into the removal system. I don't know if you have a removal order, but you do have a pending U visa case, which in and of itself doesn't provide 100% protection from deportation. No, it really doesn't. what it would allow you to do is make a reasonable argument to an immigration judge, expecting him or her to be experienced in immigration law, and to tell that judge that you have this pending U visa case, and for that judge to say, okay, let's adjourn this until you get a decision from USCIS. But nowadays, the judges are pressured. They're facing a lot of pressure not to do things like that anymore. And so it's unlikely that an immigration judge will adjourn until USCIS makes a decision in that U visa case. So for some people in this scenario, it might not end very well. It's kind of hard to say how this will actually end, but that's just my perspective on things. Okay, that there might not be bond, but if you did enter the United States, if you did enter the U.S. With a visa, then you can be bonded out and continue your fight while you're back home with your family. Freedom now, guys. And my colleague had dropped in the comments the link to our video about anti-Americanism, that policy. So if you want more information about this new tactic by the government and policy, watch that video. I don't have any news today about DACA. Okay. Freedom Now from Maryland. Good to see you, Mary. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Do we have to publicize our Facebook account when submitting the T visa application? My Facebook account has been deactivated due to fear from the traffickers. Thank you. I don't believe, honestly, I don't believe there's a question during the application process for the T visa related to social media, but I haven't seen all of the updated forms in quite some time. So I'm not sure if they have a question like that. I don't think so. But certainly if the government asks for your social media handles, then yes, it's at that point that you provide the handles to that individual. If you don't have any, you're not on social media, you're not on social media. You have nothing to share with them, and you have a deactivated account. There's nothing to see. Nothing is there for you, right? So I think really the question is now a good time for folks to be on social media, right? Is now a good time to be on social media? The world that we're living in, guys, social media is such a very big part of our world. That's where we get information. That's where we get news. That's where we interact with each other. That's where businesses get clients. I meet you this way through social media and YouTube. That's how you learn about us or companies that you find valuable to you. So for me, I definitely think social media has its value and its place. So I think it's fine to be on social media, but is now a good time to go out on social media and say bad things about the government? No, it's not. It's not. Is now the time for you, immigrant, to go on social media and criticize the government and what they're doing? Freedom of speech in the United States is limited now under this administration, limited not just to non-citizens, but even citizens are starting to feel the restriction and are pushing back and fighting. So for the immigrant now who is going through a process, now is not the time to think that you can just get on social media and say whatever is on your mind to whoever you want to, because it could very well be harassment. You could face some charges there as well if you threaten people online, federal charges potentially. Now is not the good time for that. If you're on social media, you keep it social, or you watch what you need to watch to get your information that you find valuable, and then you keep it moving. That's where things are right now for immigrants, citizens, and for non-citizens, as well as even some citizens. Okay. But the T visa application process, I don't think, let me just while we're live here, see what I could find out from on the new, whether the new forms. And while I'm doing this, guys, definitely type in freedom now. Any humanitarian. Okay, let's go. Freedom now. I'm seeing your good news come in. Excellent. Continue to add your good news stories, guys. Let's see. Okay, I have to renew my green card next year. I had a DUI more than 20 years ago. Will the government go against me? You know, they might. They might. They might drill down. Um, but there are still people, even today, who have a DUI on their record. And as we've been testifying through your stories as well, who are getting through with naturalization. So we would want to look at that carefully. But that's different. Your green card renewal process, I think that, let me back up. This is green card renewal only, has nothing to do with naturalization. You should most likely be fine with seeking a renewal. But in my mind, I was thinking naturalization, which is where I always go. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine with renewal. Other people, though, in this scenario who might be thinking naturalization, they might have an issue, although some people are getting through. But you should be fine with your green card renewal. Okay, thank you. Let's go down a little bit. Is there any news about speeding up the I-130 cases for parents to a 21-year-old and other older sons and daughters? I have not heard any news about them speeding up the family-based process, the I-130 process for those in the preference categories. I have not heard any news related to that. Because remember that there is a backlog, there's a cap on the number of visas that can be issued per category each year in the family preference system. So the government can only, issue a certain number each year. So that's what's really slowing things down. Okay. Let's go down a little bit here. Okay. Blanca says, blessings from Honduras, where I recently moved to after my husband was deported in February. So far, life is better here. No anxiety or stress. Blanca, thank you so much for sharing that perspective. Freedom Now, Sadi. And my colleague has also dropped the link to the green card interview prep course. All right, for those of you who have an interview coming up very soon, grab the course. You're going to need to get the tools. I share 23 videos in this course, including worksheets as well as key takeaways and 100 questions as well, possible interview questions. It's loaded with a lot of good stuff, and I'm just preparing you in a way that we would normally prepare a client. So you want to grab this resource. The link has been dropped in the chat for you guys. It launched today, my marriage green card prep course. All right, prepare for that interview. Let's see. Okay, what if someone is they are facing an I-45 interview and the lease only has one person's name on it? Is that a big deal? Husband and wife clearly prove that they are in a bona fide marriage. Can the documents mess them up? Annie is asking. Yes, absolutely, Annie. Documents can mess things up. Now, having one name on the lease is a little bit of a flag, right? I would want to know, why is there only one name on the lease? What other evidence do you guys have to prove that you're living together? Because living together and having that marital home is important to immigration. So what else do you have in your packet to prove that? And also, what is the reason for the one name on the lease? One of the reasons that we see often why there is only one name on the lease is maybe the petitioner spouse is living in public housing or something like that, and they cannot have, or subsidized housing, and they cannot have a spouse, because if they have a spouse, number one, and the spouse living with them, number two, they would lose their benefits. So we see it in the context of welfare fraud sometimes, and that comes up with immigration. They are looking for those issues. But if it's something not related to welfare fraud, if it's something more reasonable, like, well, the lease is ending, we're only, living here at this apartment temporarily because the lease is ending, and we're planning on moving because we have a bigger family now, or we're moving for work, or whatever the dynamics are, all very explainable. You could explain those issues as far as why only one person's name is on the lease. But if it is welfare fraud, the government is drilling down, and that's something that they could catch very easily. All right. Hey there, Veronica. Good to see you. Freedom Now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Marie. Thank you for being here. Can I be asked why I've overstayed my visa at my interview? It's possible. It's possible, absolutely, that an officer can ask you, why did you overstay? Now, if you're eligible, they can't hold it against you. However, if you are eligible to adjust your status, they can't hold that part against you, as far as why you've overstayed. But yes, it's possible that that question can be asked of you. Sometimes in the F1 student visa context, certainly they ask questions about what happened. When you came to the United States with that F1 student visa, did you enroll in school? How long were you enrolled in? What happened? Why did you stop? Why did you stay? It does come up during during the scrutiny around F1 students, right? From time to time. In the marriage green card context, it can come up, but again, they cannot hold that against you as a reason um, guys, to say no to you. Now, one of my colleagues has shared with me something that I will share with you. This goes back to the earlier question. Let's see, hold on a second. The earlier question about social media. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is something that we're going to have to track because one of my colleagues just shared with me that on March 5th, earlier this year, on March 5th, the Department of Homeland Security published a notice in the Federal Register detailing plans to collect the social media identifiers or handles on 9 immigration forms to comply with one of the earlier executive orders that President Trump had signed on January 20th. And this is the N-400, the I-131, I-192, the 485, 589, 590, 730, I-751, and I-829, those ones. I'll have to track and find out what happened with this notice and where things are with this. But I just want to share that with you because you had asked earlier about the T applications. What I'll try to do is, because this is tied into this whole anti-Americanism policy that the government has, I'm going to see if I could fit in maybe a reel that I could film for you guys related to these forms and where things are right now and what they're trying to do with social media, and see if I could provide maybe one or two additional tips related to this issue, okay? Freedom Now. Okay, let's see. Let's go down. It is safe to travel for most people. Let's skip over those ones. What should I do if my U visa does not come through as the time that was given, 3 to 5 years? The U visa takes usually 7 years or a little longer for most people. 3 to 5 years, I think, is a short time frame for the U visa. You just got to continue to wait it out, Andrew. There are so many millions of people who are in a situation right now without lawful status in the United States. Some of them are going through a process like you. And, the key is to get on track with immigration, file something if you're eligible for it, if it's safe for you to file it. For some people, it might not be safe to file anything right now with immigration, but speak one-on-one with your lawyer about those issues that are on your record as far as why you shouldn't take any action. Continue to pay attention to the new policies, continue to pay attention to what's happening so that you're not blindsided or caught off guard by anything, okay? But you just have to, when you have your petition in process, there's not much you can do but continue to wait for a decision on that case. Okay, Marie says, my sister has 15 years since her citizen brother filed a petition for her. Uh, will she be able to get her green card here? She had overstayed her visa. So no, she will not be able to, Marie, get her green card here through her sibling. She will have to go back to her home country for an embassy process um, after, hold on a second. She will have to go back to her home country after getting a waiver approved. Okay, guys, I'm going to jump over now to some good news stories. These are good news that were shared last week. Great news. After 30 years, I applied for citizenship in November of last year. It went for a review, and they just said they mailed me a letter for swearing in. I'm so excited. That is terrific. Congratulations. Lizzie says, my work authorization was approved last month after waiting 7 months, and I was given a 5-year work permit. Congratulations, Lizzie. It's good to be able to work with a work permit. Colin says that I had 5 domestic violation order of protection and 6 arrests. I went for my citizenship with faith in God. I told the person conducting the interview everything. I believed in God and Jesus, my Savior. I was granted citizenship with no issue 2 months ago. Well, there you have it. That's his story, right? There you have that, guys. You need to understand that it's possible in some cases to still get through and get your citizenship or naturalization approved. All right, guys, let me just jump back up here. We're going to end now. Again, today my course has launched. Grab that course. If you have a green card interview coming up with your spouse, be prepared for it. It's an excellent course. I will be sharing more information with you guys about it. I created it 3 years ago, and I feel so impressed these days to get out as much information and resources to individuals as possible, because this is a fight that that we're all facing, that's very new. The intensity of attacks against even legal, lawful immigration. And so I'm preparing materials for you guys to help you wherever you are in the journey. Also, my embassy interview prep, this old interview prep course for only $37. I've just made that available to you guys again. It does need to be refreshed in light of all of the craziness that we're seeing with immigration, but you will still be able to get some good nuggets from that course. You guys can let me just go ahead and do this. I'm going to type this in myself. Go to my website. It's called Latoya McBean mykajabi.com. Okay, so I just added the link here in the chat for you guys. Go there, you will see these courses, these resources. I even have an old course too about proving a genuine marriage. That one is also, I think, very low cost, maybe $37 or $24, something like that. The marriage prep course is $297. And guys, this is you're going to need these tools. And I also have a free resource on that very same website that that would help you guys. Hold on, let me also pull that up for you. When you go to the website, you will be able to see this. Let's go here, go back here. How to tell your winning love story. 3 pieces of the puzzle that you must share with immigration. This was one of my favorite resources to have created years ago. This is good. You've got to, it's free. It's on my website. It is absolutely free. And you're going to get so much value from this free resource. Okay. So go to this website and just look around and grab what you can. On McBean Law's website, we also have a lot of free guides and materials for you guys. I want you to really fight back. You've got to get some knowledge, got to get some information, fight back. McBeanlaw.com/free. Download those guides. Go on my other website, latoyamcbean.mykajabi, and take a look at these resources that I've created for you. Some are free, and then others are like $24, $37. The marriage prep course is $297. And next time hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared to pull it all up for you guys so that you could see what I have available. Actually, I should be able to do that now, because I think it's very important that you guys see what we have for you. Okay, so let me do this and jump back over here, and let's see. I'm going to try to share my screen. Okay, so guys, oops, hold on a second. Let me come back. You could tell that I just came back from vacation, right? Definitely. Okay, so here we go. This is latoyamcbean.mykajabi.com. This is the website, and here's the free resource that I have on the website. Thousands of you have seen this in over the years. I mean, a whole lot of you. If you're new to me and you have not listened or taken this free course yet, How to Tell Your Win and Love Story to Immigration, grab it. I'm telling you, a lot of people have passed through this free course. It's amazing. 3 pieces of the puzzle that you must share with immigration. Okay, tell that win and love story. And then here is my marriage prep course. Okay, 23 videos with worksheets and key takeaways. This is what you really need to grab a hold of right away if you have a green card interview coming up with your spouse. And let's see if I could just click on this link here and go into this is the offer page, of course. And for those of you who had purchased the course before today, you were able to save 15%. For those who are purchasing today and onward, you will pay the regular rate of $297. And guys, this is the outline. Okay, this is the guide. Again, 23 videos covering the interview notice documents, what to expect at USCIS's office, mastering the questions, the background questions, which is the meat of this course. And then I provided some other very essential tips for success during that interview. So grab a hold of it today so that you could feel a lot more confident walking into your interview with USCIS. So let's just jump back on the screen here. Guys, thanks so much for being with me today. It was really nice being with you, and I will be live on social media throughout the week. You could follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well for more free tips and information and news that I share. I'll also probably share some of the vacation photos and videos with you guys just so that you could see that I do know how to relax as well. And I did relax. So guys, thanks so much for being with me. We're here for you at McBean Law. Reach out for a consultation. Reach out for a consultation with us, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.